Madam President, Wolfgang, colleagues, I'm delighted to be here to congratulate you on this inauguration. I've been asked, Wolfgang, by you to talk about mental capital, and I know that the reason for this is that when I was in the British government, one of the foresight reports I commissioned was on the issue of mental capital and well-being. And in those foresight reports, which I initiated within the British government and which no other program had more impact on decision-making in British government than this program, we had 8 reports, and this report produced a whole series of pieces of advice for government on decision-making to manage well-being. We had 400 leading experts from around the world advising us on this project. Let me just take you through, first of all, the definitions that we came up with, because I think these are quite important. Mental capital, we're referring to a person's cognitive and emotional resources. So when I say cognitive resources, the cognitive ability of a person, we reckon, refers to their flexibility and efficiency in learning. The emotional intelligence includes social skills and resilience in the face of stress. And stress is one of the biggest counter factors that we have to deal with in terms of mental capital. Overall, we're looking at, of course, how a person contributes to society, and that may be the pair of glasses that Partha wears as an economist, but of course, we're also talking about how an individual experiences a high personal quality of life. So we're looking at it from the individual's point of view as well as from society's point of view. Mental well-being is worth separating out because mental well-being, critically important, is, however, a dynamic state. It's more elusive. And it refers to that state in which an individual is able to best develop their potential to work productively and creatively. When we're feeling depressed, we're not in a very good frame of mind to do these things. It enables the individual to build strong and positive relations with other people, and, of course, importantly, it enables the individual to contribute to their community. So human well-being is a critical factor in building our communities. The problem is that as politicians and public members, we tend not to take these factors into account in decision-making. So this human well-being and mental capital is enhanced when an individual is able to fulfill their personal and social goals. There's a positive feedback effect. When you're contributing, you get an enhancement and encouragement from that process. So you achieve a sense of purpose and status in society as a result of this. Major challenges we looked at, highly relevant to the formation of the Wittgenstein Center. First of all, demographic age shift. So we're now in these foresight programs looking ahead 20 to 40 years and saying, what are the challenges going to be and what government decisions need to be made now to address these challenges so that we're more robust. Demographic age shift is the first of these. In Western countries, this is extremely significant. In the UK, the number of people over the age of 65 is going to double by 2070 to 21.3 million. The number over 80 is going to treble to 9.5 million under current trends, and these look fairly robust. That's the nature of the challenge that we're faced with. And what this means is that older people will need to maintain mental capital. So we had to look at interventions which are likely to lead to better maintenance of mental capital in older people. Dementia in the UK is projected to rise to 1.4 million in 2040. And that the cost to the country is estimated at about £50 billion a year. So it's a very significant cost. The underutilization of mental capital of older adults becomes a real issue. and it has to be addressed politically and socially. The second challenge refers to the increased global population and its impact on, through the globalized economy, on pressures on resource scarcity and environmentally induced migration and so on. Now, what does this mean in terms of mental capital? It actually means that we have to address that question of flexibility in our ability to learn. So learning and relearning, training and retraining becomes more important because of the speed of change that we can expect to have to address as we move forward. There is increased competitiveness as well as we move forward, and we're already seeing this in younger people. This increased competitiveness creates a problem in terms of work-life balance, and it creates problems in terms of the knock-on effect that has for families and communities. If we're all working 24/7, there isn't enough time for families and communities. Then the other major issue that we addressed, and Sapatha has covered this to a certain extent, was the question of the importance of addressing the development of human capital in children. And this is where society is investing way into the future. And the questions that we looked at relate to the importance of early interventions when we detect learning difficulties. Many of these learning difficulties can be addressed and addressed highly successfully if they are caught early. And so what we're trying to do is introduce into our nursery school systems, into our school systems, a means of early detection and then intervention. Yes, we need to look at prenatal as well as postnatal parenting. And so the question of offering coaching skills to parents and also teaching future parents. This isn't something that we're used to including in the school curriculum, how to have your own children and nurture them in the best possible way. We have a real issue with looked after children, children taken into care because their parents are not capable of looking after them or for whatever other reason. In Britain, 45% of our children taken into care have mental health disorders of one kind or another, and poor educational achievement, and they're 4 times more likely to be unemployed. Let me just quickly list, to finish off, the interventions. We produced for government a whole list of interventions. There's no silver bullet here, but just to list them under 4 headings. Promote flourishing in children, foster mental well-being in workers, unlock mental capital in older people, and promote well-being in frontline professions because they affect so many others, such as teachers and doctors. Once again, let me say I'm delighted that the Wittgenstein Center will be addressing these issues. Thank you.